Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Mark for Audio 46, and today I'm going to be looking at and using the new Sony headphones called the MDR-M1. These are the successor to the legendary studio tool, the MDR-7506. Those retailed for $99.99, and they were pretty ubiquitous in almost every studio. So these are coming in at $249.99. I just wanted to see if the improvements made justify the price increase and how these stack up against the original Studio Legends. So let's take a look. Before I start the video, just wanted to thank you for watching and also encourage you to like, comment, subscribe, and share the video. It means a lot, and let me know in the comments down below if you've listened to these and what you think about them. So starting off, I wanted to address comfort first. It's really important to have a very comfortable pair of headphones that you can listen to for hours, especially in long studio sessions where you can't have the chance to switch between monitors and headphones. I'm happy to report that Sony's made huge improvements in this field, giving us memory foam ear pads and an increased quality headband. One of the biggest pitfalls with the original 7506s were their super thin ear pads and the headband. There's a huge improvement in the comfort. There's a little less clamp force that I noticed, but also the ear pads just sit much better. The headband feels a little softer when you adjust it, and it's just overall a nicer feeling headband. That being said, the ear pads are still a little thin. They're really comfortable out of the box, but if you're doing sessions that are 4 or 5 hours or longer, or you have multiple sessions booked back to back, I'd still say that a replacement set of ear pads might be helpful, but they're not necessary. It's not just the comfort that got upgraded. There's a lot of different features that I think are a huge improvement over the original 7506. The frequency range extends from 5 Hz all the way up to 80 kilohertz. It does help with the staging a little bit. A huge improvement is the detachable cable. So it is Sony's proprietary screw-in 3.5 TRS. No longer are you gonna have to throw away your headphones if you damage the cable or have to worry about soldering new wires or anything. It's pretty plug and play, and that's just gonna extend the life of your headphones a lot. These headphones are pretty durable workhorses, but the most common failure point that I've seen in studios is that wire. So the detachable cable is 2 thumbs up. It's a really big plus on these. The new 40mm drivers are producing that high resolution sound. With that in mind, there's actually a bass port that they've added to these. So they've been able to raise the bass up a little bit while keeping it flat. So you're not getting like any sub bass roll off that you'd normally get with open back headphones, but also there's more bass bringing them flatter than there was on the 7506. For my sound signature that I personally enjoy, I like these a lot, especially in the bass. Weighing in at 216 grams, these are some of the lightest headphones on the market, and it's really easy to wear them for extended periods of time. If you know anything about Sony's catalog, you'll know how light their wireless headphones are. These are even lighter than that. So if you have a pair of XM5s at home, expect similar comfort, but I would say that these are just even a little bit more comfortable. At 50 ohms and 102 dB sensitivity per milliwatt, these are gonna be super easy to drive, and I was able to just drive them straight out of my computer or on my phone using a dongle. But I will say that if you wanna get the most out of your sound and you're using them for mixing or monitoring, I would still utilize a dedicated headphone amp. Moving on to what you get in the box, it comes with the Sony MDR-M1 headphones, 2 detachable cables, which are the same terminations, they're both 3.5s, and a 3.5 to 6.35 adapter. You're gonna get 2 separate cables. One's gonna be a 1.2 meter cable, and the other is gonna be a 2.5 meter cable. So this gives you a little bit of versatility if you want to use them during the day, during a commute. The shorter cable is perfect for that, especially with phone use. And then if you're going to be using them in a session behind a console, the 2.5 meter is well suited for that. Since it's a detachable cable, it's easy to find replacements in whatever lengths and terminations you need. So let's talk about the sound quality. And the first thing I wanted to talk about was soundstage. Now, these are closed back headphones, and as you'd expect, it's a pretty intimate soundstage, but the width and depth isn't necessarily what I think a lot of people are looking for from these, and it's more so the imaging that's really impressive. Although they're not the widest or the tallest, there's a really nice sense of height and width that's pretty accurate from these headphones. So if you're mixing or monitoring, these are going to be a really useful tool because they really accurately pinpoint where sounds come from. When listening to Goon Squad by Everybody Gets Hurt, at the 2-minute mark, there's an intro to a breakdown where the guitars are panned hard right and hard left. It's a really classic sound, but at the same time, it's very discernible where the sound comes from. You can hear the micro details because of that resolution, and you also hear the cutoff in the production, where it goes from right to left. So it's a really nice effect, and there's no sound bleed between the drivers whatsoever. Listening to Seika by Lucretia Dalt, there's a beautiful flanging effect that goes on where there's like a whirring of her voice. And although it's a little more confined than when you listen on open backs, that really nice whooshing effect that comes in is very discernible, and it does feel like it wraps around your head because of how accurate these headphones are. If you're not heavily relying on reverb in mixes, I'd say that these are a perfect studio tool and will be 100% suitable for mixing and monitoring. Now I'm going to break down some of my impressions of the frequency response. And I wanted to start with Ra Ra Ta off of the new Tyler, the Creator album. And the thing that struck me the most about this was how deep and impactful the 808s were. And it's a really nice, heavy, bassy sound because of how that track is mixed. But at the same time, I'm not overwhelmed by those 808s. I just feel how palpable they are. To me, it doesn't drown out any of the instrumentation or Tyler's voice. So I really like that about these. The bass extension on these somewhat reminds me of an LCD2, just granted with less soundstage. It's slightly less colored, a little flatter, but at the same time, you get that heavy sub bass that you would expect from bassier headphones without it being too overwhelming or coloring the sound unnecessarily. So the mids on these are really, really beautiful. When I was listening to Dvorak's Romance in F minor, performed by Mikhail Pochekin, I really noticed how song-like and lyrical the violins were. While I was listening, there was a really beautiful separation in the strings, but at the same time, the solo section has a fantastic singing quality to it, and you really get the micro details because of that flat response. So it doesn't feel brittle, but it's full-bodied, rich, and detailed. Details in bowing are perceived very clearly, but at the same time, it's not overwhelming, and I don't feel a push in any frequency range. Sony has made the biggest improvements, though, in the treble, and I always found the original 7506s to be a little sibilant at times, and they were harsh to me. This is definitely not harsh. There's a much more tame treble. I wanted to test this out with something really aggressive, so I listened to Skin Cushion by Sanguisugabog. So all that treble information can at times be a little harsh and fatiguing, and I think on brighter headphones like the 7506 or the DT770, that is really clear and you do get some sibilance, but I'm happy to report that the treble on these is much flatter and it's much, much easier to listen to these for extended periods of time. So the main question is, do these justify the price increase? And the short answer is yes. If you're doing serious studio work, Sony has essentially addressed every major issue with the 7506. The detachable cable is going to improve the longevity of these headphones. The treble is much less sharp and they're much more comfortable than they have been in years past with the memory foam and improved headband. I think that they're a worthy successor to the Studio Legend, but at the same time, they still do have their drawbacks and they're not perfect. The soundstage isn't going to compete with $1,000 plus headphones, but I don't think that's that much of a problem considering these are $249. Certain people who have marathon listening sessions might still want to upgrade the ear pads, but I was pretty okay listening for hours with these on, and the memory foam and headband are very comfortable for me. As a professional tool that's built to last and priced competitively, to me, the Sony MDR-M1 is definitely worth the price increase, and they've improved upon all the things that were downfalls of the 7506. Despite these improvements, they've still kept what made the 7506 a classic, and the design hasn't changed all that much, but the issues were addressed. That's it for today's review. If you found it helpful, please let me know in the comments. If you liked the video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And let me know again if you've listened to these and what your impression of them are. I'm Mark for Audio 46. Thanks, and have a good one.